Live from the podcast rooms in Glasgow, it's all about the Gers with Ricki, Neill, Derek Ferguson and Charlie Miller.
Hello and welcome to All About the Gers podcast, joined by Charlie and Derek tonight. How you doing, guys?
Very well. How are we?
Right, I'm good.
Aye, not bad.
Good. I'm still a wee bit hungover from Saturday, which is a bad sign, but I'm getting better. I know it was a bit of a session in Lounge 72.
Some sore head down the size of that, man.
It was a very sore head. But before we get into the chat, big massive thank you to all our sponsors. We've got SSAFA, who is the Soldiers, Sailors and Airmen's Families Association, Plugged In Business Solutions, DB Dental Care and Park Construction and Plant Hire. And you can check them all out on our website, which is allaboutthegers.co.uk. So how are you guys doing anyway? What have you been up to?
Good. Behaved myself. Football with the kids all weekend, With the Scottish Cup yesterday, the boys win, so
That's good, isn't it?
day.
What round is that?
It was only I think the second round it was.
Aye.
Second round, so
Had a wee,
done well.
I had a wee catch up with Lewis. Saw him for about 2 or 3 hours last night. Yeah, after his game. So
Because he's here for Scotland, isn't he?
Right.
So and he had to meet up. So just met him. Actually, it was very nice. He took us out for a wee bite to eat. It's mad of that because my missus, she's desperate to see him. So am I, of course am I. But you only get that couple of hours. But you don't even get to sit with because we're sitting at a big table. There's about 10 of us there. So, but it was nice wee catch up.
He's doing well, isn't he? He was captain last week, wasn't he?
Aye, and they were 2-0 down on Saturday. I got to watch the game because I wasn't working in the afternoon. So they get back to each. And they played some good stuff. He had a wee assist in there. He got brought down for the penalty as well. So,
good.
He's in a good place at the moment. That's for sure.
Brilliant. And Charlie, you're away to Belfast this weekend, aren't you?
Saturday. Me, Gordon Smith.
That'll be decent.
It's a boy. I can't remember Matt. I think he's Linfield. His testimonial thing.
Right.
So I went to the dinner on Saturday night.
You're not playing, are you?
No. Alec Ray was obviously supposed to come with me, but can't under circumstances.
That sounds like a good night, doesn't it?
Doesn't it?
We're in Belfast.
I'm jealous already. Seeing that, I've got a few nights coming up as well.
Have you?
Aye,
Good stuff.
I'm going down to Corby at the end of this month with Big Kyle Lafferty, my new mate.
It's your second home, isn't it?
It is. I know. Do you know what? I'd never even heard of the place until last year.
When are we going to Stornoway?
Can you now?
70. We're coming up to Stornoway, and we're actually going to do a wee bit of a kind of.
What the best Stornoway?
We're going to do a wee podcast as well, like while
Alright.
we're up there. So we're going to interview some of the guys and make an actual video
Brilliant.
for the guys. So we're up in Stornoway. Can't wait.
Beautiful.
17th of November.
Beautiful. Look, I'm looking forward to that.
That'll be a good one. I'm not looking forward to that wee plane right enough.
Nah, and I'm
Derek's the funniest thing
don't-
ever coming back. Honestly, we were done it a few years ago, and him coming back, it was in colour, Incredible Hulk, man.
I was all over the place. And that was because I had a night out with Charlie Miller. I just couldn't keep up with the young man.
I was green coming back. That was funny. Man.
I'm not looking forward to the flight coming back, especially after drinking we used to.
And it's that time of the year, it will be a wee bit, I could imagine that being a bit rough, but anyway.
Aye. Right, before we go into football chat as well, I just we're doing we're doing a charity quiz at Mr. Singh's for SSAFA on the 19th of October. There's still some tickets left. You can go to the SSAFA website and get them. I'm hosting the quiz, but you two guys are going to be in a team, and 2 people are allowed to join your team, and they're bidding for it just now. I think the bid is at £55 ahead now. So if you want to bid to be on this team and win,
I'll come clean. I'm hopeless at quizzes.
Is it
Right.
just a sports quiz? Football?
No, it's general
Was
knowledge.
well, we're lost.
Music, you're good at music.
I'm worse than a man down.
You're good at
honestly.
music.
Pink Floyd, that's all I know. Pink Floyd Oasis.
So we need whoever's going to join me and Charlie, they need to be at the top of their game.
Do you know who one of the top bidders is in it?
Yeah, come on.
Our friend, the Curry Muncher.
By the way, I like the cut.
Aye.
James.
I mean, I saw the Curry Muncher on some of the other podcasts, Rangers podcasts,
right.
because I've watched it, a few of them, and they're all good. All the other Rangers podcasts, they're different class, and I saw the Curry Muncher on it as well.
Just wait to meet him in the flesh, by the way.
You must have met James.
I don't know. I'm terrible with names and how.
Is that his name?
I think it's this.
I just call him Curry Muncher.
I know.
I think
James
it's
the Curry Muncher.
I think it's wee James.
Aye.
I'm sure that you said that one night. It was wee James.
Oh, I don't know.
Goalies, mate.
I don't know.
No.
Don't know. Anyway, we're going to talk about Limassol. Derek, you were over there working for the BBC.
I tell you what, I was so looking forward to that game because, and I said last week, with Stephen Davis and Ali and Stephen Smith taking over, I thought we would certainly get a reaction. My God, you know, it was, for want of a better word, it was woeful from start to finish. The body language, the effort, which, you know, you scratch your head. That's the one thing, that's a given, that as soon as you cross that white line, you give maximum effort, especially for the fans. I don't know, it was a 2,000 or 3,000 that travelled there, and the park was kind of outside the city. It was quite a difficult place to get. Wasn't it, a lot of the kind of modern, and it was a modern stadium, but there was nothing round about it for even the fans to get a wee get together, have a couple of drinks. But no, they turned up, and their numbers were very vocal. Try to get the team going, but at not one stage did they even look that they could even get a draw for that game. Some real poor performances. Certainly at the back as well, the middle, Raskin and Lundstrom. You know, I tell you what, sometimes they need to be kind of took out of that kind of equation. You know, I'm surprised that the management team didn't hook one or two of them. No hook physically, but hook them, get them off the park. But apart from Big Seema, who showed a bit of life about him, and we kind of utilised that. The tactics were to go, you know, long, diagonal, over the top, and let Seema get up against their wee fullback because he wasn't the strongest. But the level, Charlie, it's like there's standards at Rangers Football Club, you know, that you've got to meet. And the guys on Thursday night were well below. I was actually in shock. See, after the game, I sat in the press conference, and I was trying to kind of go, I couldn't remember a Rangers team as a collective giving you that poor an effort.
The last time I remember of that was Progress Niederkorn.
See, even after the game, Charlie, and because I'm sitting there, I don't know what it looked like on the telly. There wasn't that togetherness. Even it was half-hearted going to applaud the fans. It was fragmented. There was one or two here and there. Fragmented in terms of, you know, you get two players.
Obviously, he's just back to working with the BBC.
But you've got two or three players and half-hearted.
It was horrible.
I think, and this is where sometimes Tav, we were talking about yesterday because he was back to his best, but that's where the leadership comes in. Get the guys together, go over to the fans. Aye, these were an embarrassment, but at least applaud the fans, and they never done that. Nice. It was poor, in fact.
Charlie,
it was the worst I've seen.
Well, you heard them also. They complained about the pitch before it. They said they trained on the night before, and they said it was bad.
The pitch wasn't great, but come on.
Both teams are having to play in that pitch, Charlie.
Playing. It's simple as that. When we played, there was some bog heaps, man. So you just got on with it, and you still show effort, as Derek said. It was terrible. It was the worst I've seen.
Do you not think it was
ever?
I thought it was quite, because Stephen Davis is still a player. He's still in that dressing room. I thought it was really disrespectful towards Stephen for that effort to be shown, because that's your teammate. You know, you've been. I was honestly, it was. I couldn't get it. It was strange to see that, but and it shouldn't be done to even sometimes Stephen, Alec, and Steve. They have got to do it as a group, and they just. It was horrendous.
I was going to say to Charlie, were you surprised at the team that he picked? And do you think it's maybe him with his pals? He doesn't want to drop his pals and things like that, because there was only like 3 changes from the result against Aberdeen.
But who can he bring in? That's the thing. There's a lot of injuries in there. I get that. It was terrible. It was horrific. But no, he's not going to play him because he's pally with him, or going to play him because he has to play who's playing the best, doesn't he? And at the moment, there's no many that are playing at the peak of their powers. So he had a decision to make, and for the game in Saturday, obviously changed 3 players, I think it was, for the Aberdeen game, but they were miles off. You could tell for the beginning, the body language, the pace they were moving the ball at. The other team, they looked lively. There were some quick boys in their team. But we've got to have merit about it, because they could have been. I think they could have been 2-0 up, but they missed a sitter as well.
And he wasn't critical after the game. I mean, he didn't hang them out to dry, the players. And I think that is just down to what you've just said there. He's still got a relationship with the guys. He's still a player. He's been put in a position where the board have asked him. I mean, you're not going to knock it back. Of course you're not. But but he did say before the game he had belief and he thought that there was good quality, even in the new boys that have come in, the new signings. The jury's out on that, obviously.
Goldson was poor in first. That's the worst I've ever seen Goldson.
So was Tav. That's
It's
what I'm
I've seen
saying.
him,
At
and
the
I
back.
just obviously Dave played with him, but I think maybe time for him with Goldson to come out for a wee bit.
Aye.
I think he looks sluggish. He's not the same player as he was before he got injured. And I would have been playing Davies and Suter, definitely.
I didn't hear that they complained about the surface.
Aye.
Did they?
Complained about it before. Said they trained it the night before and they weren't happy with the surface.
Can't blame the surface. You just go out and beat the team. That's a great chance for us to be in 6 points. We really should be in 6 points. Now we've made it very difficult for ourselves because we have to play Sparta Prague double header, and then we're away to Betis as well, aren't we?
It looked as if they were feeling sorry for themselves, and you cannot do that.
Right.
You can.
Anyway,
It was disturbing.
it's strange to see so many players not perform, but you know what I mean?
That was horrible.
Uh,
The less said about it.
Seema was the only one.
Yes, he was.
Innit? He was the only one. That's what, and again, I think the bench was quite a lot of the young boys, and obviously we've seen that in Sunday. You know, when you bring the boys into the equation, you know, with that energy, that enthusiasm, they can make a difference. So, but it was a hard one for Stephen, you know, because as he says, he still get belief, as he says, in the players. He was probably thinking he's going to get a tune out of them, but I'll go back to it. Just for them to give that back to the management team on the night, I thought it was bordering on being really disrespectful.
Do you know who I was quite impressed with when he came on? McCausland. I thought he made a difference.
On Sunday?
No,
And
Limassol.
Aye, because it's that, just says that energy,
Young and eager, wants to get involved.
They
wants to get
fear.
on the ball.
They don't fear anything. They want
100%.
to make their way in the
But
game.
where's Wright? Is Wright injured?
Wright was playing.
I know, but then he wasn't even on the bench yesterday.
I didn't know. To be honest, I didn't even know he was playing against Limassol, and that was a chance for him. I think Davies gave.
But I'm not the biggest fan of Wright, but you can't just bring him in 2 games and then no see him again. You have to give the guy a run if you're going to give him a chance. I know it's hard when he's not been playing great. The games he's been in, he hasn't done that well. But I think against Motherwell, it was probably one of his better performances against Motherwell. He did okay, but you need to give him a run of games to see what he can produce. Because he's never actually had a run of games, right, has he?
Mm-hmm.
He's never went on, maybe played 10, 12 games. Obviously, they don't fancy him. He's obviously not good enough. But to play on Thursday then leaving in the squad yesterday, I'm quite surprised.
Right.
But it's good to see the young ones in. As much, get them in. Wee Bailey Rice come on, McCausland come on. And then obviously Lovelace started. Want to see what these boys are made in. And then it's about time they get a chance, you know.
Mm-hmm. Right, moving on to St Mirren. I thought it was going to be a tough game. There's no second in the league.
They won it after the Thursday night performance.
I know, very tough. But before we got into that, did you see the banner that some of the Rangers fans had put up?
Quite right.
It was saying, heartless, passionless, leaderless, not fit to wear our colours. What's your thoughts on that?
Quite right to voice your opinion and do that. Because, again, what we've watched this season, you know, we've played in fits and starts. It's not been a great watch. And I just think that was a final nail in the head on Thursday night
was suspended
with that performance. You know, so I think the fans quite rightly should voice your opinion. And there's no better way, you know, with a banner, you know, and it's caught the attention, that's for sure. So, and you hope the players see that. They might be looking and say, gives them a wee bit of a joke. It worked to a certain extent in terms of we got the result. But for me, it still wasn't great, to be honest with you.
Charlie, do you know, I mean, imagine you were a player and you went out and seen that. How would you have felt?
You've got to be hurt. It's got to be.
It's not going to build you with motivation, but is it?
Well, it's got.
It
has to do a bit to go and see what the fans are saying and go, I'm going to prove them wrong. I'm going to go here and give them all and work hard. As Derek said, working hard is just a given. See if you work hard, then fans won't even bother. See if you make a bad pass and you try and win the ball back right away, fans see that. They're not stupid, but as long as you're doing hard graft, they'll let you away with it. And then if you're a good player, talented player, then the talent will come through. But I just think it was a point they had to make because Thursday was just the worst I've ever seen.
See the players, listen, don't beat around the bush. They've got a wonderful lifestyle. They're really well paid. These guys that go and follow them and support them, by the way, I don't know how they get away with it in terms of for their wives and all that and their girlfriends, because they spend their hard-earned cash, by the way, all on Rangers. Rangers is their life. And that's what we always I've touched on before. I think we've said, but we need people within the group, the team, within the backroom staff, within the club, to get that across to these guys that come to the club. Make them well aware of what it is to play with Glasgow Rangers, what it means to the fans. Because I know, and you'll know plenty as well, Charlie, these guys, I sometimes wonder how they can pay for their tickets for games, travelling away. Sometimes they're taking their boy or their lassie, you know what I mean? So
the thing is,
fair play to them.
The thing is, even obviously the fans, they spend a lot of their hard-earned money, 100% a day. The thing is, even we've had a few doings. I had a few doings in Europe, but they were against teams like say Juventus and Ajax and things like that, who are top-class teams, you know what I mean? So, but you can't be getting a doing off Limassol. You know, that's just...
What do you think they would probably rate, Charlie? You know, in terms of, would they be like a middle of the road, like kind of Premier League side? Would they be even a Championship side? That's, in my mind, because they had a wee bit of pace.
That's
up front, but that was it. Because, but even, do you know something? Even I think, even tactically, I think they just sort off a wee bit, and they knew that they could hurt them with pace, hitting them on the counter, hitting them on the break, and they done it.
I mean, it was good. Butland has been amazing this season as well so far, but it was good to see young Zach Lovelace get on Sunday as well. Only 17 years old, and it turns out like Millwall fans were totally like annoyed when he came up to Rangers. What do you think of him, Charlie, so far?
I didn't see much.
I didn't,
because I was at a game. We had a game yesterday with kids, but I seen the second half, and already the man had been injured by then, so I didn't get to see him. But it's good they're in. It's good the boys are getting a chance. If the ones are signed in the summer and the ones who have been there before on the doing it, then you have to bring the boys in. You have to give them a chance. That there's no use being there. You have to give them a chance. If they're good enough, put them in.
I thought he was brilliant when he came on. Derek, did you see it as well?
On the right hand side, they were different class, and I think. Do you know something? Tav linked up with him really well. So he did, and that's where all the danger came from, the right-hand side. So it was, and he was brilliant for the goal, for the cross, you know, that obviously the boy handles and gets sent off. But he looked a threat, and it was because of that, the pace and the power that the boys got. And we've brought in players that have get pace and power. And that's when you look at Lammers, you look at Desers. Would you say that they've got that in their locker? No. But are they, in terms of Lammers, nice player. Dessers, I'm not quite sure. And you feel a wee bit for the boy, but that's why Stephen Davis had to react and change it up a wee bit and give the youth a chance, because we speak about that, no fear, but we needed pace in the final third, and you get that with Lovelace and Seema.
See Seema as well. I mean, the past few games he's actually been turning into a player. Do you think he's maybe
through the middle?
Do you think he's playing the right position?
Well, I don't think he's got much skill, is he? I think he's kind of a tricky winger like Loudrock was or anything like that, but he's got pace to burn. Put him in behind the player and through the middle.
Width as well. That's what we kind of lacked under Beale. We didn't have enough width in our play, and you look at Lovelace and Seema to a certain extent, you know, gaining that width. And I think that's really important as well. I mean, you've got the likes of, obviously, the Barisic and Tav, you know, playing a bit better and linking up with the guys. It makes such a difference. So it does.
It's always good to see Roof back, although how long's he going to be fit for?
He didn't really figure in the game, Charlie.
I know, but it's just good to see him on the pitch.
And do you know something? But I was kind of wondering, is he fully fit? You know, because he didn't look.
He didn't look at it.
You know, I just get that feeling, you know, because normally you see him coming short, linking the play, even coming when he wasn't. If he wasn't getting the ball, Charlie, he'd come and link up, but he wasn't doing that. I don't think he's fully fit.
Maybe he's hit that lull when he's been out for so long, and you play a few games and then bang.
Sky actually showed his stats compared to one of the other players, and he barely even touched the ball.
4 touches or something.
It was
just having him back in the pitch is a boost in it.
Definitely. Many fans there's always this debate about Tavernier, should he be captain? Lots of fans are actually still wanting him to be stripped for the captaincy, and then people are saying, would it be possible if he was stripped, would it be a weight off his shoulders and he'd actually maybe be able to just concentrate on his own game?
Who do you give it to?
I would have thought Butland, but I know a lot of people don't like goalkeepers being your captain.
Well, he's probably
Dino's off.
Raskin.
He was a captain, man. I'm trying to
Raskin
think.
take it.
No. I get what they say about it, and it's because sometimes his body language isn't great, you know, and you look for your leaders in terms of your captains, and we've spoke about them who we've had in the past. I mean, they show their emotions in terms of they get after players. I don't think that's maybe Tavernier's strong point, but I thought you were going to touch on what a few people have been saying, even watching. You know, Tav yesterday, they all say, no, you can't play him further forward. He's better coming for a deeper area. But see, yesterday, he was like playing like a midfielder, certainly in the second half, although we were against 10 men. But it was still the same outcome. We were still making the same runs.
I don't think he can play the one up. He can't.
Do you know something? I think he could. There you go. I think he could.
If he could have done that before.
Because we touch on his defensive deficiencies.
We did put on Sterling in the Old Firm game, didn't we? And push Tav on a bit.
Pushed him up.
But I just think he has to come for deep. He really does. I just don't think he can play that one up.
Well, if you see the game, yes, I know you've not watched it all, Charlie, but that's what I was watching, and I'm thinking, I don't think he actually needs to come for that deeper area as we build the play, because he was picking the ball up 40 yards out, 35, 40 yards out, you know, and going at people. I don't know.
It would be better if we could play up.
It would be interesting to see it. So it would, but whether that's going to happen.
Well, here's Ready Teddy Bears saying, see how Barisic and Tavernier can't defend. Would we not be better turning them into left and right wingers and go out and find two solid defensive left and right backs?
Well, we've got the boy Sterling.
Aye.
Sterling looks decent if he's going to play it right back, but obviously Tav's, unless they put Tav up one, Sterling's not going to play.
That's how we thought we were going to go through the back, to allow Tavernier and Barisic to go high and wide, you know, so that they don't have to maybe do the hard yards in terms of backtracking, you know. And when you've got that three at the back, and maybe one of the kind of defensive-minded midfielder or somebody that would just maybe kind of sit in a wee bit and just to allow those guys, because that's a strong point. It's delivery into the box, certainly Barisic, and you've seen some of the goals, even when I was at the county game. Remember it early in the season? What a goal it was! Tavernier scored. Oh, yeah. It was absolute top draw.
Yesterday's strikes are great.
It was a peach, wasn't it?
Absolutely, that's what I'm saying. So you look where he was. That wasn't a fullback coming on to it late, making a late run. He was in the midst of the middle of the park, you know, and he has the first crack, rebound, wallop.
Nice.
Top drawer, wasn't it?
Perfect. Gallant Pioneer saying, makes no sense why we're giving game time to Lovelace and Cosland, but loaning Lowry out. He's doing well at Hearts, isn't he?
Well, he's maybe not had as much game time as he would have liked, but the one thing about Lowry, he's a talented boy. He makes a difference in the final third, and that's why I scratch my head in terms of what did we spend on Lammers when we've already got guys, right? Yeah. So you've got Cantwell, right, that can play that role, and you've got young Lowry. So you're already got a couple of players, you know, that could play that position and play it better.
I've said it before.
So why buy him? Why spend that money?
There's obviously something with Lowry in the background that we don't know. But I wouldn't have signed Lammers if I was I would have kept Lowry, but as we say, we don't know what's going on in the background. And I said that last week. I think we signed too many players similar. But obviously, I think Campbell has to play in behind the number of the strikers, and that's where Lammers is supposed to play as well.
Do you think maybe like sending Lowry away to Hearts will maybe give him the wee kick he needs?
And we're not getting a sniff that he's one of these guys who's got a poor attitude. He's hard to manage. I've not been here, and I've heard he was bad attitude at training. Well, I'm not here. But sometimes maybe he was perceived as that for the last manager. But sometimes that's not the case. It's just the way. By the way, we've played with them. Sometimes guys in training kind of go through the motions in terms of when you're doing certain stuff. Sometimes they maybe need a wee kick out the backside. But sometimes you just go, right, is he going to do it in match day? And if you've got players that do it in the match day, and sometimes you're maybe having a kind of no an off day during training, but they're just maybe no 100%. Sometimes you've got to manage that.
Yeah. He's been through a lot as well because he lost his mum as well.
By the way, I didn't know that. Right, there's all the things that you've got to take into account. You've got to manage that as a manager. Maybe the last group, Michael Beale, the assistants, maybe they seen something in the boy and thought, nah, and Yeah, you're telling me that.
We didn't play with Giovanni either, though. That's
No,
it.
no.
But as a boy just said, we'll bring Hadji and Lowry back. If Lowry's got to be playing for Hearts week in, week out, then they'll definitely have to bring him back in January. And I'm assuming Hadji, they'll have that clause as well to get him back. But we really need to get more Scottish bodies in the team. I really think we do.
It's making an impact, isn't it? That Hearts.
Well,
that's the important thing.
There's John Keynes actually says that. He says there's a lack of Scottish players in our team affecting our team, especially Rangers players who support the club. Remember the days of Bomber.
We need to have more players in there. We really need to have more Scottish boys, definitely.
I thought Chris Boyd yesterday on Sky Sports was having a bit of a ding-dong with Big Sutton, but I thought he made a great point, right? Because he actually described the Rangers snobbery in terms of this group that we're in. I'm talking about that they've ignored the Scottish game, the Scottish players, as if they're not good enough. And you've got to think back to some of our best managers, Walter Smith. He always tapped into it.
Aye.
So he did.
Well, there's Ready Teddy Bear saying, is it true that Davy Cooper didn't like training?
And sometimes Coop wasn't 100% at it, but you need to manage that. You need to, sometimes these guys need to be arm around the shoulder. Sometimes just lay off them a wee bit, because you know when it comes match day that they'll be switched on. You know in match day they're going to win you a game of football. They're going to produce that bit of magic. Played with loads of players like that, you know. So and sometimes you might have a wee go at them in training, but then sometimes you've got to have a wee bit of savvy about you, just to say, right, hold on a minute, I don't know, maybe he fell out with his missus last night or something. So I'll just kind of backtrack a wee bit. Sometimes that's, again, you've got to see that, you know, and see what they're like when they're in the dressing room before they go to training. And maybe and he's a young guy. They're still developing. They've got lots going on, you know, in their world. So you've got to take all that into account.
Right, well, let's talk about the new managers, right? Because it's all changed against us last week.
Just come in, you've just produced a list.
There's loads of them now. Is it John Eustace? Is that how you say
John
that?
Eustace.
He seems to be favourite now. Just sacked for Birmingham. Would you want a manager that's just been sacked for another team?
For me, it's got to be Muscat. I think Muscat has to get it. He's successful. He's been successful in Melbourne. He's been successful in Yokohama. And he's attacking football, you know what I mean?
They've got Wayne Rooney down here.
I know, I've seen that.
Look up your grannies, by the way, of Wayne's coming into town. There's a few there. The boy...
Muscat would have topped his granny.
I know, but you know, he's won things. Right. You know, and I think that, well, to me, I think that's important as well. Clermont, you know, in the Belgium league, I think he'd won a few league titles, went to Monaco. I know he got the sack. He was only there for about 18 months, but experience. Again, Clermont has won things. And then you start the Scott Parker one. I'm kind of bemused with that one. Because a lot of the fans right away didn't want Frank Lampard. So why would you want Scott Parker? But we've got quite a number. Graham Potter, that's when I'd seen that earlier.
That was one of the first ones. It was
quite like that, you know. And
Harry's brother.
But there's a few surprise. Ruud van Nistelrooy as well was in there. So
done Dutch,
you said that, didn't you? What do you mean you've done Dutch? You've done Dutch what?
Advocate for Giovanni.
All right.
Here's Marco Negri's eye. Dick Campbell, why no? Where did Willie Waddle come from? Jock Wallace, Walter Smith, Big Eck. Sick of these foreign bams. Get the old school name messers in their doors.
I tell you what, imagine with Dick Campbell's
some man. But
he would be brilliant. in terms of, hey, but do you know something? There's a good point, right? So maybe you go, all right, because maybe Dick Campbell, he's no managed at top levels, no an elite manager. But I tell you what, he'd kick a few arses. He would get in about a few people. He would get them playing. He would get them motivated. So he would. And again, and we talk about the managers, but it's who the manager brings. It's who he surrounds himself with. Sometimes I would even love that. There you go. That's a great shout. Dick Campbell in some capacity at Rangers.
See, I remember a story where playing the film. Dick Campbell was Bert Payton's assistant, and Bert Payton.
That was my old manager. I played under them.
Well, Bert, the right back, Graham Robertson's Loudrup's turning him inside out, and Bert Payton goes like to him, do you know what sports scene? He does that all the time. And Graham Roberts like, well, you come on and get the bloody ball off him, man. I swear I had tears come down my eyes. And he's just walking out the dugout and just
He's a goal. He's hilarious, you know. So he is.
Aye.
He's a funny guy.
Good to have in the dressing room.
Oh, brilliant! And that was the one thing because Bert Payton was my manager. I was at Dunfermline, but Dick Campbell, first thing in the morning, hilarious in the dressing room. Oh, just rip you apart.
Aye.
So he would, in a day, big mad teeth that he's got. Could eat an apple through a letterbox, so he could. But it was good. So, but that's what you need. You need characters as well. Somebody with a wee bit about them. I think that's important. That's why I always say, have good people run about you, good characters, good strong characters. I'm all for that. I've got to imagine that Dick Campbell in some capacity that would be allowed into that dressing room.
Aye.
Oh, that'd be funny, man.
Stephen Lermouse saying, talking of snobbery, are we going down the same road by dismissing McInnes?
Well, I would have McInnes or Muscat. That's the two I would have.
Experienced boys, aren't they? Certainly Derek.
But I don't think Rangers will go for Derek this time.
No, and again, that goes back to when Derek knocked Rangers back.
Aye.
You know what I mean? So people do hold a grudge, but you look at him and you see there's a wee bit of kind of that old-fashionedness about Derek McInnes. It'd be interesting to see what he'd be like with better players, you know, but he would certainly be a good manager because he's proven that. I've got a wee bit of experience in knowing Derek, you know, how he managed that Aberdeen side with Lewis in it. So I got to kind of pick Lewis's range a wee bit in terms of what was he like, and he just seemed to be spot on the way he handled the players.
I think somebody actually just mentioned it in there as well. Gallant Pioneer has said, does McInnes outfox a Brendan Rodgers? Because I think, you know, with the time at Aberdeen, he only beat Celtic once, you know, and that's kind of been brought up a few times.
Mm-hmm. Aye. But it's about, at the end of the day, it's about players, isn't it? You know, and how you manage them. But it'd be interesting to see how a Derek McInnes or some of the other guys we're talking about, Charlie's pick, Kevin Muscat, you know, we dealing with better players, having better players, what style of football they would implement. So, that would be, you know, it'd be intriguing. But certainly for me, out of all this as well, I think it's got to be experience. So that's why you look at the more experienced boys, and that's how Clement, Muscat, and all. I do like that they think that the reason that they've won a few things as well. I think that's important.
Paul Stewart saying, I'll tell you something, I'd take David Martindale in heartbeat, no Scottish football, and his team plays good football. I think he's brilliant, that guy.
Oh, by the way,
and he's a Rangers fan as well.
He overachieves.
Every year it overachieves.
Didn't he? The lowest budget in the division. They've nobody goes to support them.
It was brilliant because he had an interview on the telly, didn't he? And Aberdeen had sold 6,000 season tickets and they'd sold 74ers.
That's that. I mean, how do you? So again, what he's got to do as a manager, Martindale, he's got to motivate them as well, get them playing. And I think and it's one of his traits is Martindale, and I'm going to say Dick Campbell to a certain extent. They make kind of average players, good players. So it would be interesting
to get the best out of their teams.
Could they make good players, brilliant players? You know, so it's interesting. So do
you think a lot of these foreign managers kind of, when they come over here, they're surprised at how teams just park the bus against us and we don't know how to break them down?
They probably do the same thing in their own leagues as well. Aye. For instance, in the Belgium league, when you're manager and elect or whatever, if you go into the bottom teams and in that league, they'll be doing the same thing.
Aye.
Whoever the board of kind of are interviewing at the minute down in London, as soon as these guys have been contacted, they'll be delving into Rangers, they'll be delving into the Scottish game, these guys, to find out more. They'll be making contact with certain people, people working for them.
A lot of them probably done their badges here.
Aye. Could have been, aye.
So Graham Souness is meant to be...
Marino, there you go. Marino was the one, right? He's a big one that done his badges.
Aye.
Yeah.
Well, Graham Souness is meant to be involved in the selection process. How intimidating would that be?
No, but remember we said that. Why, when he was contacted about coming in some capacity, and for whatever reason it didn't materialise, why would you not take Graham Souness? An absolute no-brainer, by the way, with his knowledge, his experience, the aura that he has with him, you know, attracting players. When Souness came to us, you think about the team that we had, you know, the English internationalists, England captains that were coming to play with Rangers.
It did help. They were banned for
He's an icon.
Europe went at the time.
But he's an icon. And, like, you know, imagine when somebody kind of we're seeking a player to come in, and then you go to meet them, and then you've got somebody like Graham Souness as well there, just in the chat, talking away. He knows, and hey, he knows how to handle people. I think it's a no-brainer, man.
No.
Crazy why we've not got him involved in some capacity.
So, Charlie, you're going for Muscat?
Muscat or McInnes for me.
Aye. Will be yourself, Derek.
Wayne Rooney. Wayne Rooney, how's he in there? I don't get that.
Do you know,
he's just been sacked.
One of our
Marcus
good
resigned.
because I think he's lined up for the Birmingham job.
It's
But
American, it's on Birmingham, isn't it?
aye. But Margot Buddy's actually saying that her dad can't believe that he's actually been mentioned. Wayne Rooney.
I know. He was some player, but it just he's a novice in it. He had his time with Derby. You know, it was a tough time he had, but it's just been that list. I thought you were just making that up.
No, I got it off.
Did you?
Aye,
because when I saw that, I was like, oh, right, there's a few in there.
Well, this Gallant Pioneer, I agree with him. He says we absolutely need an established manager. No more gambles on projects.
No, this is Rangers Football Club. I mean, world renowned. So I'm saying we, and I'm talking for the fans here, we deserve a good, experienced manager to come in. And sometimes you can look for the cheaper option, you know, but it's the Rangers manager's job.
Does Muscat come and do well for 2 years and then go to the English Premier League again, like Postecoglou done? I think McInnes, if he comes and does well, he'll be the manager for the next 10, 15 years. What do we want? That's the thing.
Because this is going to be our 19th manager. I mean, so for a club of our age, it's no.
To be fair, it's been too many in the last few years.
Past few years, you know. So I agree with that. I wouldn't mind McInnes as well. But yeah, anyway, let's see what's going on in the group chat. Curry Muncher, he's saying there is two prime candidates. There is two prime candidates, right? Not Muscat with Moore as director of football or Clements with Mitchell as director of football. Who's your choice? Well, I think we've already kind of said Muscat and McInnes, and that he's asking if he's been outbid. He's not been outbid yet, so you're still coming along and you're joining our quiz team or their quiz team because I'm the quiz master.
I hope he's good. You'll need to be good.
He talks good.
Sure.
He talks non-stop. By the way, you know.
Is he?
Aye, so I think it'll be a good night actually. Always is a good night, but that's on the 19th of October. So if you want to go along, there's still
night is that? Is that a Wednesday or a Thursday?
It's a Thursday night. So it is.
All right.
So
I behave myself.
Aye, you be all right for that.
You're getting picked up anyway, aren't you? For
Elva Shandy.
So who's picking up again?
Scott, the boys that were here that night.
That's right. Aye.
Well, see, maybe get training.
Good. All right. Let's see what else have we got. Have you got any gigs coming up? Oh, you're in Belfast. Belfast Saturday.
Me? No, just looking after the grand wins.
Dreadcon, you say, is on Saturday?
Aye, but I don't like to say. I just like to say that I'm working hard. I'm looking after
Working
the grand
hard.
wins and that.
Well, we're having a wee charity talent show in Lounge 72 on Saturday, and all the proceeds are going towards St Andrew's Hospice. So that's where the goalie and Fernando ended up. So that'll be a good night. So if you know anybody that wants to come along, doesn't need to be singing. It could be anything. Could tell a joke. Or
I'll say to the boys,
juggle.
because the
They were
boys are
amazing,
always.
actually, in that hospice. They were great with Fernando and the goalie.
Aye. They're really nice people. So there. So we've been raising money over the past couple of weeks.
What a job they do.
But this week is actually UK Hospice Week. So aye. Hope you can all come along. It's 7 o'clock on Saturday night. So just come along and sing a song.
It's free beer, Ricki says.
Nah, no free beer.
No, by the way, it was good that the boys went down. Was it a number of weeks ago?
Aye.
And they said Ricki looked after them very well.
Aye, they were drinking the baby Guinnesses.
Oh, well, the few scoops being. No, they said they had a great wee night.
Aye, it's always a good night in Lounge 72.
Free beer, remember, free beer.
Aye, that's if Charlie's there.
You get a happy hour?
Aye, between 9 and 10 on a Monday. we're shutting on Monday. Anyway, I'm afraid that's us at the end of the show already. So I just want to say a big thank you. Have you got any shout outs or anything?
Just to say, I hope Big Stan's doing all right because he was in the hospital and I'm glad he's.
I know.
I'm glad
he's a big fella.
I'm glad he's on the mend.
I texted him earlier on and he says he's out and he's feeling better. So thoughts about you, Stan, if you're watching. I don't think he watches your podcast.
How's it because yours is better than his?
I don't know. Anyway, just want to say a big thank you to all our sponsors. We've got SSAFA, who are the Soldiers, Sailors and Airmen's Families Association, Plugged In Business Solutions, DB Dental Care and Park Construction and Plant Hire. And you can check them all out at our website, which is allaboutthegers.co.uk, and we'll see you all next week. Take care.
See you guys.